Tonight, multi-story building collapses in the Ikoyi area of Lagos. 3 bodies recovered, 3 other people rescued, with scores feared trapped in the rubble. Lawmakers in the upper chamber to debate the siege laid to the Abuja home of Justice Mary Odili as Inspector General of Police denies ordering action. Senate Committee on Health refuses to consider the 2022 budget proposal of the Ministry of Health, citing inconsistencies in its 2021 budget performance. And UN Secretary General warns that humanity is digging its own grave on climate change, urges immediate action by the world. Plus, international news from our London studio. On business news tonight, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency announces plans to assist entrepreneurs access the international market through the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement.
On sports news tonight, Super Eagles coach Kenneth Raw extends the invitation to forward Odio Igalo, who announced his retirement from international game in 2019 in his 24-man list, World Cup list, qualifier against Liberia and Cape Verde.
And from Abuja, Vice President Oshibajo encourages young Nigerians to press harder in order to achieve their set goals at the opening of a National Youth Conference in Abuja.
We begin with our developing story today. 3 bodies have so far been recovered and 3 other persons rescued from the scene of the multi-story building that collapsed in the Ikoyi area of Lagos today. The building sited on Gerrard Road was under construction when it caved in, trapping many people in the rubble. Officials of NEMA and the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, as well as operatives from the Disaster Response Unit of the Army, the Air Force, currently carrying out the rescue operation. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Ms. Hakim Adumosun, says their top priority is to rescue more people.
The collapse of a multi-story building in Ikoyi, a highbrow suburb in Lagos, is as shocking as it is tragic. The sound and the effect it produced is likened to an earthquake. Dust from the crash fills the air, and once it clears, the sight of the rubble is frightening. Stopping the crowd from witnessing an incident of this magnitude may not be easy. The most the rescue team and security agents can do to keep people at bay is set boundaries with cordon tapes. The press team, however, has access up to a safe point. The Deputy Governor of Lagos State visits the scene, and he, like everyone else here, is bewildered. A bulldozer is on hand to clear the debris. The operation must be well thought out, so as not to endanger those trapped underneath. But time is of the essence.
What we're after now is rescue mission. People don't know which floor are they are working, and 3 corpses still have been recovered. So the operation still goes on. At the end of the day, we get the people in charge. So we get the site manager, we get the site engineer, so all those that are supervising, through them now we have the figure of those who are on site. That's right.
At the moment, the officials are tight-lipped on the rescue efforts. But one thing is for sure, that the tragedy of November 1st, 2021 is one that raises questions of safety and compliance to building regulations.
Our correspondent, Dari Dawu, is live for us at the site. Dari, what a day it has been for Lagosians. And from what we are seeing, this rescue operation will continue well into tomorrow, if not days. What more do we know, especially with the rescue efforts and how fast it's going, with many still feared trapped? All right, we're going to get a hold of our correspondent, Dari Do, a little later about the latest at the multi-story building collapse in the Ikoyi area of Lagos. Moving on to other stories, the Senate will debate what it describes as the invasion of the residence of the Supreme Court Judge, Justice Mary Odili, by security agencies when it resumes plenary November 9. The chairman, Senate Committee on Judiciary, Mr. Akpeyemi Bamidele, disclosed this to journalists during an oversight visit to the Chief Justice of Nigeria in Abuja. According to him, the Senate cannot pretend to be unaware of the embarrassing situation of the invasion of the residence of Justice Mary Odili last Friday by security agencies. Security operatives had, on that day, October 29, laid siege to the house of the Supreme Court Justice based on information by a whistleblower that illegal activities were going on in her residence. Meanwhile, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Mohammed, says there is no interference from the executive and legislative arms of government on activities of the judiciary.
My Lord, as a committee and as Nigerians and elected representatives of our people, we cannot pretend not to be aware of the embarrassing situation which occurred some 48 hours ago, Friday night, when there was an attempt to invade the home of my Lord Honorable Justice Mary Odili, Justice of the Supreme Court. Without joining issues with anyone at this point, my Lord, we just as a committee would like to assure your Lordship that this is a matter we're taking very seriously. By the time the Senate is back in plenary session on the 9th of November 2021, it is our desire as a committee to ensure that the issue is discussed on the floor of the Senate as a matter of urgent public importance.
The legislature of this country, particularly the Senate, has not failed us in any way. We have received all the cooperations in the world. There is nothing that we have asked and you have not granted us. I cannot say or cite an example of where there is any interference either from the legislature or from the executive.
Well, staying with the invasion of Justice Odili's residence, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has ordered a detailed investigation into the incident which occurred last Friday, October 29. The IGP, in a statement by the Force's Public Relations Officer, DCP Frank Mber, said the leadership of the force is not aware and did not at any time order police operatives to carry out such assignment, describing the reported violation of the sanctity of the residence of the Justice of the Supreme Court as unfortunate and unacceptable, while promising that perpetrators of the act will be made to face the wrath of the law. The IGP has directed the Commissioner of Police in charge of the Federal Capital Territory to strengthen security around the street and residence of Justice Mary Odili to ensure her safety. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has fixed January 17, 2022 to hear the application challenging the jurisdiction of the court and the main suit in the case instituted by the River State government seeking to stop the federal government from ceding 17 oil wells in the state to Imo State. The seven-man panel, led by Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun, fixed the date after counsels to the Attorney General of the Federation and Imo State told the courts that they had two motions challenging the competence of the suit and the court's jurisdiction. However, the legal team to the River State government told the court that their summons for direction by the court in streamlining the various applications ought to take priority. We're going back now to live scenes of the multi-story building collapse in the Ikoyi area of Lagos. Our correspondent, Dare Dowu, is with us now. Dare, what a day indeed. What can you tell us about the ongoing rescue operation and how fast it's going on?
Thank you very much, Millicent. Of course, the rescue operation started around 5 p.m. That's 5 hours already. Then again, there's been a lot of activities here in the background. If you can see that the site has been cordoned off at the moment. So this is a main road. That is where everyone is standing at the moment. Journalists, even members of the family of whoever is perceived to be in the building. And right now, of course, we've been trying to get an authority to give us an official statement. Right now, I'm joined by Mr. Ibrahim Farinloye. He's the spokesperson of the National Emergency Management Agency. He joins us now. Sir, very quickly, can you give us an update? What's the situation in there?
Well, the situation is that 4 people are confirmed dead, while 4 were rescued alive. The operation started immediately. The building crashed, collapsed. The people around us, around there, came in and rescued some people before our arrival. And when we came in, we accommodated them until full statutory agencies came in. Then we asked them to step out. So far, we have some people at the muster points talking to us, and we are getting closer to that point, to that muster point. You know, it's a pile of building, and we need to be careful how we get there so that it won't crash on them. But they are sounding quite okay. They are communicating, sending text messages to us.
So let's be clear on this. Who are those people communicating?
Well, they are workers. I know these workers, when I got in here, I saw some of them who ran out. And they told me, I interviewed them, because when you get to a disaster scene, the first thing you do, you gather information. So when I got here, I saw some of them, I called them. They said they reported for work today. This was the first day they are coming to the site. And they have not started working on the scene before this incident happened, because they claim that a particular contractor is supposed to come to make a drill before they can start working. So that is where, and with the information coming from the other ground now, is trying to get close to what the first informant told me when we got here.
So there are some feelers as well that the owner of the building might also be trapped in there.
I wouldn't say. I just got an information few seconds ago that the owner of the building and his friend from UK, who arrived from the UK recently, are said to be missing.
So you can't confirm if they are trapped in the building?
I wouldn't until when we finish the final operation.
Thank you very much. That's a spokesperson of the National Emergency Agency here on ground, and he's telling us some of the things that is gathered, because right now we can't go in there where the rescue operation is going on, so we can only just trust and rely on the information we get from an official at the moment. Back to you, Millicent.
Many thanks, Dario Derulai, for us there at the site of the multi-storey building collapse. Do stay safe, and we'll talk to you again later. In part 2, after the break, the leadership crisis in the Plateau State House of Assembly deepens as suspected thugs storm complex in Jos. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Multi-storey building collapses in the Ikoyi area of Lagos. 4 bodies recovered and 4 other people rescued, with scores feared trapped in the rubble. Lawmakers in the upper chamber to debate the siege laid to the Abuja home of Justice Mary Odili as Inspector General of Police denies ordering action. Senate Committee on Health refuses to consider the 2022 budget proposal of the Ministry of Health, citing inconsistencies in its 2021 budget performance. The UN Secretary General warns that humanity is digging its own grave on climate change, urges immediate action by the world. And to the National Assembly, where the Senate Committee on Health has refused to consider the 2022 budget proposal of the Ministry of Health, citing inconsistencies with its 2021 budget performance. Now, during the budget defense session of the ministry, committee members observed anomalies in documents presented by the Minister of Health, Dr. Osagie Ehanire, in respect of capital releases and information on the implementation of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. Our correspondent Linda Kigwe reports.
The Health Minister, Dr. Osagie Ehanire, is before the Senate Committee on Health to defend the ministry's proposed 2022 budget. Before going into the 2022 budget proposal, the committee examines the 2021 budget performance of the ministry. Members observe some irregularities in the 2021 budget performance.
What we want from you is you reclassify it, list that these items are donor funded or they are grants, and if you do that, you see that the percentage of release is not what the percentage you are giving is higher.
A member of the committee and the chairman disagree on how the session would progress, considering the inconsistencies observed in the ministry's 2021 budget performance.
You're seeing a 21% releases in capital budgeting. Is it a document you want us to go through?
No, that's why I said they will correct, that particular part.
When the document is corrected, then we'll look at it.
No, they will correct that part.
No, when the document is corrected,
where do you want to give them again?
They can come back tomorrow. The minister is busy. No, Mr. Chairman, I will not accept that.
Let's move on. There are other things. We have to move on with other questions. They can't come with only this.
No, when they know what to do, let them go and do the right thing.
Distinguished deputy, let us proceed to consolidate all the questions. Not on this alone. There are other budgets.
If this document goes out and is seen by anybody, for even the sake of the government, it's very embarrassing.
The committee then moves to the ministry's 2022 budget, but again detects anomalies in the document as regards the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund.
In 2019-2020, the Ministry of Health did not receive any disbursement. Yes.
That's not correct. Read page 47.
Page 47.
You mentioned that earlier to me, but what is here is different now.
Yeah, it's an error.
That means you are not brief, eh?
No, that's wrong. I should have drawn attention to it right from the beginning. There's a wrong categorization.
Hold on, sir. Hold on. Please. This is a document submitted to us. And if this document is not valid.
The committee directs the Minister of Health to return on Tuesday, November 2nd, and provide members with the accurate information on its 2021 budget performance, as well as the releases for the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. Linda Akibi, Channels Television News.
In Plateau State, the crisis rocking the State House of Assembly appears to be far from over. This is because earlier today, 13 members led by the embattled impeached Speaker Ayuba Abok were in the chambers with their sympathizers, supporters, chanting solidarity songs, displaying placards outside the complex. While the protesters were busy outside, some suspected thugs gained access into the complex and the entrance door to the chambers. In the meantime, 13 members led by the impeached Speaker are calling on the State Governor, Simon Lalong, to reinstate Ayuba Abok.
We are in the hallowed chambers. These chambers is sacred. We will not agree to any siege by the security. They should respect the rule of law, respect the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, respect this country. We will not condone any siege by the security.
Meanwhile, the Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly has warned the embattled Speaker as well as other members of the House that held a session in the chambers today to desist from such acts of illegality.
It gladdens me that I'm before you this evening. As a matter of fact, it's a welcome development for the people of Nigeria to get to hear the true matter of the whole situation. It's unfortunate that the person who was a former speaker congratulated me after I was elected as the speaker. That will still go around and parade himself as the speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly. And that today He found himself here in the chamber, which is very illegal, and I've almost wanted to declare him wanted. But in the spirit of give and take, as an honorable member like me, I decided, I said, no, he should stop it. But what he should do, he should return the constructed mess that has been parading himself with in his own car.
Let's go over to our Abuja studios where Markwe Ogun Yusuf has some more stories. Hello, Markwe.
Hello, Millicent. It's definitely good to see you. Welcome to our studios here in Abuja. We begin from outside the shores of the country where the president has affirmed that Africa's ambition of restoring over 100 million hectares of degraded landscape for productive agriculture is achievable. President Muhammadu Buhari made the assertion on the sidelines of the ongoing Climate Change Summit COP26 on Great Green Wall, which was co-hosted by the French President Emmanuel Macron, the Prince of Wales and the President of Mauritania, Mohamed Ould Ghazouani. The challenge of land degradation, desertification, and depletion of forest ecosystems in Africa was central at the meeting. He further noted that Nigeria has pledged commitment towards expanding the Great Green Wall program in Africa. Nigeria is part of 193 countries that have ratified the UN Convention to combat desertification and mitigate the effects of drought in countries experiencing serious environmental challenges. And back home, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, is encouraging young Nigerians to press harder to achieve their set goals. Professor Osinbajo, who is speaking at the start of a 3-day National Youth Conference in Abuja to mark the 2021 African Youth Day, also assured the youths of government's commitment to provide a favorable environment for them to thrive. Our correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports.
It's entirely a youth affair, and the discussion centers on their inclusiveness, governance, security, and employment. The Minister of Youth and Sports Development says the event is necessary to bridge the gap of communication between the government and the youths.
In 2 years, we've trained close to 200,000, about 198,000 youths. And a myriad of other programs are ongoing. The NYIF is focused on providing access to our youth to access funds for MSMEs. And so far, over 6,000 youth from across our country have benefited, with another 10,000 lined up to benefit after their training.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who represents President Muhammadu Buhari at the event, commends Nigerian youths for their contribution in various disciplines as he urges them to keep faith in the country, shun violence, and remain optimistic in the face of challenges.
We will, as an administration, continue to support your efforts by creating an environment that enables the fulfillment of your dreams. It may be difficult, but we will get there. Wherever you are in this country, whatever it is that you're doing, keep moving. Don't look back. You will win eventually. Keep moving ahead.
The youths, however, have a message for the government.
We need more jobs because we need money to fund our lives. We can't afford the houses that are out there and pay for 12 months.
They also say they want their interest reflected during the 2023 general elections.
I need to see every political party making itself youth-friendly. We need to speak that language.
With youths drawn from the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, the conversation here centers on the need for inclusion of the Nigerian youth in the scheme of things, particularly in governance. Hopefully, in the next 3 days, this issue, among others, will be thrashed and recommendations will be made. Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
Into some company news, Premium Lager Beer Hero has launched the Igba Boy scheme targeted at Igbo apprentices in their final year of graduation from training, with over 50 million naira worth of seed capital and mentorship. Announcing the grant at the Alaba International Market in Lagos, the brand manager of the Hero Lager Beer, Orji Dubem, says the apprentices are a national treasure and called on others to follow suit.
The car park of the Electronic Secretariat at the Alaba International Market donned a different look as premium lager beer Hero gathered trading apprentices and their masters. The aim is to launch the Igba Boy Hero scheme, which will empower trading apprentices, popularly known as Unwa Boy, with the sum of 50 million naira and a business mentorship program as they begin their journey as independent business owners.
In each market where we go to, we are going to select 50 apprentices. We are going to 6 markets cumulatively. And these 50 apprentices, that's 300 apprentices in all. We're going to give them 2 days business training. We'll assess the apprentices, give them some tasks to perform, and based on their performance, we'll decide those of them that will support with 500,000 naira each.
So we select the top 50 from the market based on the selection, random selection, and then verify that these people are actually in their final year of training. Once that is done, they are entitled to come for the special 2-day training, where we're going to be taking courses on digital marketing, selling to consumers, business management, and a few of the things that we believe will add to the skills that they have acquired over the last 4 to 5 years of their training. This is the reason why
The marketing manager further explains the choice of the venue.
If you looked at all the hubs of apprentices-based businesses in Lagos, Alaba would count as #1. So it was very important to ensure that we launched here and that we made an impact in this market and touched our consumers positively in this market.
The executives of the Market Association, as well as the apprentices, welcome the development.
By the time Hero has provided this 50 million to as many as that will be privileged or fortunate to have it, it will add to whatever their master is going to give to them. And you know what it means. So if you add 50 million naira into a business, maybe depending on how many people that are going to be beneficial, it will aid them. It will be an advantage. It will make their business to boost.
A nice platform for them to recognize that we, the apprenticeship, Umu Boy, exist. It means that I give them a thumbs up. It's not easy.
The happiness and excitement didn't stop there. Slow Dog thrilled the crowd with a scintillating and captivating performance as they look forward to receiving their grants.
When the News at 10 returns, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency to assist entrepreneurs access international markets through the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. That's some business news. You join us again. Welcome back. A little more company news, but this time from the banks. Ecobank Nigeria Limited has commissioned its new head office situated along Ozumba Mbadiwe, Victoria Island. The ultra-modern edifice, called the Ecobank Pan-African Center, is designed to ensure a comfortable working environment for staff and customers. The building houses smart offices, a restaurant, multi-purpose conference hall, and recreational centers, among others.
Sitting proudly along the Ozumba Mbadiwe Road in Victoria Island lies a new ultra-modern edifice, the latest head office of Ecobank Nigeria Limited. Known as the Ecobank Pan-African Center, the iconic building is designed to further enhance productivity for staff and service delivery for customers.
The center is a dream come true. Indeed, we are proud of this heritage. It is a tribute to the vision of our founding fathers in creating a world-class Pan-African banking group and providing excellent financial services across Africa.
For the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the building reflects the future of work with a strong connection that will boost the state's smart city project.
Designed with energy efficiency, that's one of the things we need in Nigeria. People that will reduce, our energy footprint. I know that this building will speak, to a lot of very first, where you see crèche, where you see different workspaces, where you see a game room.
October 2021.
In a historic move for the bank and as a tribute to its founding fathers, the Ecobank Pan-African Center dream comes alive. The Ecobank Pan-African Center is a smart building with recreational centers for staff to have a balanced work-life routine and amenities to promote the general growth of the economy.
The Ecobank Pan-African Center, it consolidates achievement of several years of the company. It brings all our staff together in one location.
Ecobank at this Pan-African Center is opening its doors to every business person, SME, micro business, individual, who is seeking to expand his or her business across Africa. We are the go-to bank for trade, payments, and collections in Africa.
Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank, is an international brand with a unique African appeal that currently has African footprint in 35 countries.
Well, I'm going to be handing you over now to Teniola Shobowale, who will be telling you about Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency and how they intend to assist entrepreneurs access to international markets. That's all from Abuja. It's now over now to you, Teniola.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Malkwe. PE Energy Limited, a leading African company that specializes in valves in actuation, automation and controls, process solutions, measurement solutions, electrical and instrumentation, has unveiled the PE Center of Excellence in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. The Center of Excellence is a 100% local, content-driven administrative and technological hub to host, coordinate and support all the projects undertaken by the PE Energy Group across its business verticals across sub-Saharan Africa.
If you're not very familiar with the workings and schematics of the oil and gas sector, then this facility and the equipment may appear like another warehouse or factory floor. Critical fittings and equipment used in the operations of exploration, production and adjacency in the sector requires these installations.
This panel came from overseas, correct?
In terms of solution and manpower handling, these feeds was only obtainable outside of the shores of Nigeria. It is now available in country courtesy of PE Energy Limited. Very early in the day, the Chinese ambassador, his counterpart from Korea, joined very high-powered government delegation led by the NCDMB boss, Simbi Wabute, and other guests, both internationally and across Nigeria, to this new facility for commissioning.
This center is equipped with high-precision equipment for complete manufacturing, assembly, upgrade, testing, calibration of both manual and actuated valves, flow metering instrumentation, process automation, control system integration, and unmatched hands-on training throughout the range of our capabilities.
The PE Center of Excellence has an MOA with more than 10 world-reputable OEMs who say they are comfortable with the collaboration in growing in-country capacity for Nigeria.
As a true ambassador, he promotes foreign companies to contribute and invest in this essential aspect of domesticating activities in Nigeria.
For this company have built an international partnership, including China. You are obtaining support not only from Nigeria government and also from Korean embassy, Chinese embassy in Nigeria.
At the heart of this endeavor is the local content component, which places Nigeria on a global pedestal of equal capacity.
I sincerely believe that none of the IOCs or operating companies will have any doubt that if given an assignment to PE Energy, it will produce the same quality that you see even outside today.
Highlight of the day is the unveiling of a new logo. The PE Center of Excellence in Rivers State, which is a self-sustained multi-million-dollar facility in terms of power generation, sits on a 10,280 square meter space. It is said to be the game changer for the oil and gas sector in Nigeria.
The Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency has announced plans to assist entrepreneurs access the international market through the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement and the Africa Growth Opportunities Act. The Director General of the agency, Dr. Umar Rada, who made this known in Abuja, explains that the support will involve skills development for owners of small businesses on branding and packaging to make their products competitive. Tier 1 financial institution Zenith Bank has released its third quarter unaudited financial results for the year. According to the results sent to the Nigerian exchange, the group's gross earnings increased by 2% from 509 billion naira in 2020 to 519 billion naira in 2021. The bank's profit before tax grew by 1% to 180 billion naira from 177 billion naira recorded in the corresponding period last year, while profit after tax also rose by 1%. Net interest income as at September the 30th increased by 4% year-on-year due to significant reduction in interest expense, while non-interest income grew by 11% year-on-year to 193 billion naira. At the same time, the bank's total assets increased by 3% to 8.8 trillion naira in the current period, while total deposits grew by 13% to close at 6 trillion naira from 5.3 trillion naira as at the 31st of December 2020. Also, the bank's operating expense increased year-on-year by 12%, while earnings per share grew by 1% to 5 naira 11 kobo within the period. Over 30 years, Zenith Bank has distinguished itself in Nigeria's financial sector, earning the bank several recognitions, including Best Commercial Bank in Nigeria in the World Finance Banking Awards 2021, Best Bank in Nigeria in the Global Finance World's Best Banks Award 2020 and 2021, among others. The domestic stock market started the new week and month on a negative note as profit-taking triggers a pullback in equities. Laddie Williams tells us more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, profit-taking in the equities market is in full swing following an inflow of corporate earnings, which led the NGX market to a record close last Friday. And this tailwind seems to slowly look like a headwind as the market observed a slight pullback. 32 billion naira was wiped off the market capitalization as the benchmark performance index fell by 0.15% to close at 41,976 points, about 62 basis points shy of the 42,000 level hit on Friday. The subdued start to the first trading day of the week was reflected in the activity chart. Overall volume and value of trade dropped by about 66 and 76% respectively when compared to Friday's trading session. Let's take a look at the sectors where lower trading also trailed the performance of most key indexes. Only the industrial goods and insurance indexes recorded gains. The stocks of mutual benefits assurance rallied the most as it contributed about 52.44 million units to the total volume of transactions. And amidst the negative market breadth, ICO Insurance PLC Steel from the insurance sector led the 19 other gainers to close. Investors may be worried about a possible pullback in the horizon, but this is the normal expectation and excitement of the stock cycle. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Laddie Williams. It's back to you.
Thanks a lot, Laddie. And here are snapshots of closing numbers for other major markets around the world. And that's business news tonight. It's back to Millicent for the rest of the news at 10.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial star 894 hash now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Taniola. Still ahead on the news at 10, UN Secretary General warns that humanity is digging its own grave on climate change, plus other international news from our London studio. Stay with us. Welcome back as we go live to the scene. The multi-story building collapse in the Ikoyi area of Lagos. Dari Do is there for us with the latest. Dari.
Yeah, thank you, Millicent. Of course, as we spoke earlier, we are still live at the incidents that happened there in Ikoyi. And let me give you a bit of a cherry news. Earlier, an official called from there that one person has been rescued, making 5 people now that have been rescued alive. And what you can see in the background is the rescue operation still ongoing. We don't even know when it's going to. It seems like it's going to be a long night for those working in this particular part of Lagos. At this point, this is an estate, a bit of a contest here, and we are all on the streets right now, just relying on the information that we get from rescue operation officials who are in that particular estate. And they said something that there's someone that they are talking to. They can see the person can see them right under the rubble. They're quite hopeful that they're going to get more people out of that rubble. It looks quite chaotic way before now, but a lot of people have left the scene, but rescue operation officials are still here trying to get more people out alive. Millicent.
Thanks, Dari, with the latest there. Seems a lot of hands are on deck to ensure the success of that operation. Thank you so much. We'll continue to get the latest from you a little later on. Let's go over to the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, who's telling world leaders, including President Muhammadu Buhari, gathered at the COP26 summit in Glasgow, that humanity is digging its own grave with an addiction to fossil fuels. He says greater ambition and action is needed to keep the goal of holding average temperature, which is rising to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Simon Pusey has this and other international news.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The United Nations Secretary General has called for urgent action on cutting greenhouse gas emissions, warning we are digging our own graves.
Enough of treating nature like a toilet.
Antonio Guterres was speaking at COP26 in Glasgow, where more than 120 world leaders are meeting to discuss climate change. Second in line to the throne, Prince Charles said time had literally run out, while naturalist and presenter David Attenborough said we need to make sure global warming is kept at 1.5 degrees Celsius. There were also musical performances and speeches from people living in Pacific and Amazonian countries where sea levels are rising fastest. The British Prime Minister said the question is whether leaders have the will to act.
If we don't get serious about climate change today, it will be too late for our children to do so tomorrow.
Arriving at the COP26 summit, French President Emmanuel Macron has said Australia's Prime Minister lied to him about the submarine deal.
Do you think he lied to you?
I don't think. I know. It's after Australia cancelled a $37 billion deal to build 12 submarines and instead negotiated a new defence pact with the US and the UK called AUKUS. Scott Morrison denies that he was dishonest. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has declared victory for his ruling Liberal Democratic Party. In a big win for Mr. Kishida, who only became Prime Minister a month ago, his party secured more than 233 lower house seats, enough to govern without its coalition partner. The LDP has dominated Japanese politics for decades, but was criticised for its handling of the pandemic. Mr. Kishida's predecessor, Yoshihide Suga, quit after just a year in office. Disneyland in Shanghai has shut down for at least 2 days after a weekend visitor tested positive for COVID-19 after returning home. The Chinese theme park will be closed on Monday and Tuesday, and all visitors and staff are being tested. Health workers in protective suits examined them as fireworks went off around the park's landmark castle. China hopes to reach 0 infections before it hosts the Winter Olympics, which begin in February. At least 29 civilians have been killed or wounded in North Yemen when ballistic missiles launched by the rebel Houthi movement hit a religious school and mosque. It comes after an explosion near the entrance to the international airport of Yemen's southern port city of Aden, which resulted in at least 6 deaths and around 20 injuries. An airport official said a small truck blew up at an outer gate at the airport. Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has appealed to citizens to take up arms to block advancing rebel fighters. He made the call on Facebook after the rebels from the northern Tigray state reportedly seized control of more towns in neighbouring Amhara. The US has called for a ceasefire in a year-long conflict that has created a humanitarian crisis. At least 9 firefighters have died and 1 person has been seriously injured when a cave collapsed in Sao Paulo state in Brazil. The accident occurred when a group of firefighters were training in the Dos Bocos cave, about 360 kilometres from Sao Paulo. Part of the cave collapsed, leaving 10 people trapped. Police reported that 6 other people suffered minor injuries during the collapse, but they were not trapped in the cave. Crowds of travellers have landed in Thailand as the country reopened to tourists for quarantine-free travel. Under the new national programme, arriving passengers must be vaccinated, spend their first night in a pre-approved hotel and receive a negative COVID-19 test before they are able to travel freely in the country. The Southeast Asian nation approved visitors from more than 60 countries. Thailand's finance ministry predicts 180,000 foreign arrivals this year and 7 million next year. That's compared with some 40 million in 2019. And finally, archaeologists in Iraq have discovered a large-scale wine factory from the rule of the Assyrian kings 2,700 years ago, along with stunning monumental rock-carved royal reliefs. Giant stone basins cut into white rock that were used in commercial winemaking in the late 8th or early 7th century was one of the main finds, the first such discovery in Iraq. Also uncovered were 12 panels measuring 5 metres wide and 2 metres tall, showing deities, kings and sacred animals. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.
And to sports news, Super Eagles head coach Gernot Rohr called up 24 players for Nigeria's closing Group C games of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Liberia and Cape Verde this month. The list includes the invitation of 2019 AFCON top scorer Odion Ighalo, who announced his retirement from the senior national team following that AFCON fate in Egypt. Captain Ahmed Musa, assistant captain William Ekang, defenders Kenneth Omero and Leon Balogun, midfielders Wilfred Ndidi and Alex Iwobi, who were missing from the qualifiers in October, also made the list. The Super Eagles will tackle the Lone Star of Liberia at the Grand Start Tanger in Morocco on November the 13th, and then fly into Lagos for the final group game against Cape Verde's Blue Sharks at the Teslim Balogun Stadium on November the 16th. That'll be all on sports. Back to you, Alicent.
Many thanks, Chris. And the main news again. A multi-story building today collapsed in the Ikoyi area of Lagos. Emergency rescue officials have rescued 5 people and recovered 4 bodies, but scores are set to be trapped in the rubble. And there's been an especially extended news at 10 tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Millicent Walker. Stay with Channels Television, your home for the news.